It's all right, it was empty. Otherwise, it would have been a criminal act. I think we'll do a Star Trek song. Any Star Trek fans in the house? Rather than polling you on which one of your favorite series is, I think I'll do a song about every Star Trek series. This is a song about that pivotal moment at the end of every single Star Trek episode, about 5 minutes from the end, when they're up against insurmountable odds. There's no way they're gonna live, and then they just make some shit up. Like Wesley bounces a graviton beam off the main deflector array, or Geordi sets up a neutrino field. Like some bullshit happens, and then the day is saved. This is called the USS Make Shit Up. I was stranded on a planet, just me and Spock. We met a nasty Nazi alien, he locked our asses up. We found a hunk of crystal and a metal piece of bed. We made a laser phaser gun and shot him in the head. Well, I was standing on the bridge when Sulu came to me. His eyes were full of tears. He said, "Captain, can't you see? The ship is gonna blow. Do something, I beseech." I grabbed a dribble and some chewing gum and stop the warp core breach. And I said, "Bounce the graviton particle beam off the main deflected dish. That's the way we do things, lad. We're making shit up as we wish. Klingons and Romulans, they pose no threat to us. Cause if we find we're in a bind, we just make some shit up." Alright, what came after original series? Next Generation. Well, I know he's just a child, and most think him a twit, but Wesley is the master when it comes to making up some shit. He's the guy you want with you when you go out in space. Just tell him, "Shut up, Wesley," if he gets in your face. And if you're at a party on the Starship Enterprise, and the karaoke player just plain old up and dies, set up a neutrino field inside a can of peas. Hold on to Geordi's visor and sing it to Data's knees. And I said, "Bounce the graviton particle beam off the main deflected dish. We're making shit up as we wish. They pose no threat to us, cause if we find we're in a bind, we just make some shit up." What came after Next Gen? Deep Space Nine, or as I used to like to call it, Deep 6-9. Cisco's on a mission to go no bloody place. He loiters on a space station above Bajoran space. The wormhole opened up and now they come from near and far. We'll keep the booze, but please send back the fucking Jem'Hadar. What is with the Klingons? Remember in the day, they looked like Puerto Ricans and they dressed in gold lame. Now they look like heavy metal rockers from the dead, with leather pants and frizzy hair and lobsters on their heads. And I said, "Bounce the graviton particle beam. That's the way we do things live. The Klingons and Romulans, cause if we find we're in a bind, we just make some shit up." What came after Deep Space Nine? Voyager! I was stuck on Voyager, pounding on the door, when suddenly it dawned on me I've seen this show before. Perhaps I'm in a warp bubble, slightly out of phase, cause it was way back in the 60s when they called it Lost in Space. We were looking for a way to make the ratings soar, so we orchestrated an encounter with the Borg. Normally you think that would get us into shit, but this one has a smashing ass and a lovely set of tits. And I said, "Bounce the graviton particle beam. That's the way we do things live. The Klingons and Romulans, cause if we find we're in a bind, we just make some shit up." What about after Voyager? Enterprise! Well, then they made a new show, and it's called Enterprise, and it takes place 100 years before Kirk was alive. They say that it's a prequel, or so that's what it's called. It's such a bad idea, you'd swear that Lucas was involved. but she's a nervous wreck. Her ass is sweet as seven's only green, so what the heck? They're in the past, but Klingons have those lobsters on their heads. I'm more confused than Wesley Crusher nude in Tasha's bed. I'm not anatomically correct. And I said, bouncing around the particle beam off the main deflected dish. That's the way we do things, lad.
Make it shut up, Aswish.
Klingons and Romulans, they pose no threat to us. Cause if we find we're in a bind, we just make some shit up. Bonus verse. Well, it seems a bigwig up at Paramount must have felt the franchise was stale by all accounts, cause they hired J.J. Abrams to give the thing a shove. I feared that he would mock and mangle everything we love. Well, I went to the movies, and there, much to my shock, there were hunky models playing Kirk and Spock. Vulcan's been destroyed, and the timeline has been crushed. So someone tell me why I love this film so fucking much. Because they bounce the graviton particle beam on the deflected dish. That's the way we do things, lad. We're making shit up as we wish. Klingons and Romulans, they pose no threat to us. Cause if we find we're in a bind, we're totally screwed, but never mind. We'll pull something out of our behind. What does God mean with a starship? We just make some shit up. Thank you. All right, now, some of you have heard this story already, but I'm going to share it with the rest of you. In the making of Bitrexual, I learned a very, very valuable lesson. And that lesson is that Doctor Who fans are pushy cunts. And the reason I say this is because what could be fucking simpler? I'm making an album called Bitrexual. 2 treks, Star Wars, Star Trek, pornographic songs. But none the fucking less, the Whovians came in droves. They emailed me on a daily basis. You gotta make a Doctor Who song, you gotta make a Doctor Who song. Because apparently every Doctor Who fan is Ringo Starr. And so they bugged the living fuck out of me. They literally would not fucking relent until finally I said, listen, Doctor Who fans. I don't even remember how it goes, so honestly, I don't know how that one goes either. Sorry.
Make some shit up.
In any case, I made a very, very big mistake.
What was it?
I said online to the Doctor Who fans, look, I don't know anything about Doctor Who. Okay, listen, assholes. I don't have a TV. I haven't owned a TV in 20 years. If I owned a television, I wouldn't be here. I'd be at home watching Judge Judy. The only reason I stand before you today is because I don't own a TV. Now, I had a TV when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I saw Star Trek and thought it was cool, and I followed it. As a kid, I went to the movies. I saw Star Wars. I thought it was cool, and I followed it until Jar Jar Binks. And then, but when I was a kid, I accidentally watched one episode of Doctor Who, and I saw a 60-year-old man in a Jew furl with a long scarf and like shitty special effects, and I was like, who's this for? Who wants to watch this? This is awful. And I didn't follow it. Now I understand it's all sexy now, and the effects are nice, and there's David Tennant and that other fellow. You got cumber bitches all over the place. I get it. But I don't watch TV, so I don't know anything about it. So here was my fatal flaw. I said, Doctor Who fans, you win. I will write a Doctor Who song and put it on Bitrexual if you tell me everything there is to know about Doctor Who. 3,000 terabytes later, I had to switch servers 4 times. I came to know about every single Doctor. I came to know about every plot line. I knew every villain. I knew everything there was to know about Doctor Who. And then one fateful day, in the food court of a sci-fi convention, A young lady dressed as a TARDIS came up to me. And she said, "How's that Doctor Who song coming along?" And I said, "Terribly." And she said, "Why is that?" And I said, "Because I know everything there is to know about Doctor Who now, but none of it means anything to me." And she looked at me and she said, "Has anyone told you yet that it's bigger on the inside?" And I said, "No, but that sounds dirty." That I can write a song about. So, there is exactly one song on Bitrexual that is not about Star Trek or Star Wars. It is about Doctor Who, making the album, I suppose, Tritrexual. And it is called Bigger on the Inside. You get a nickel if you spot the Neil Gaiman reference. I would also like to apologize to all Doctor Who fans. Because Doctor Who's English, I sort of assume the song should sound like a cross between Mary Poppins and Benny Hill. And I'd like to say I'm sorry because I fucking nailed it.
I got another. My hair's
Hello, boys and girls, I am the doctor, but not the kind that gives you medicine. I traveled throughout time and space just to please the human race, so let's not dilly-dally, let's begin. Now this thing you see here, it is my TARDIS, and with it we shall get this party started. Time and relative dimension, in space it's quite an invention, some call it the doctor's wife. Excuse me while I slip inside. You know it's bigger on the inside. It's bigger on the inside. Once you felt it inside, I'm sure that you'll agree. It's bigger on the inside, but don't take it from me. Once you felt it inside, you will see. An evil nemesis they call the Master baits me into all kinds of disaster. On Gallifrey, so I'm told, he gazed into a gaping hole, and ever since he's been an awful bastard. And then of course we've got the Cybermen. I hope I never see those things again. Who knows what they're packing there in that silver underwear? When you see them you should vacate your ass, they wish to simulate. You know it's bigger on the inside. It's bigger on the inside. Once you felt it inside, I'm sure that you'll agree. It's bigger on the inside, but don't take it from me. Once you felt it inside, you will see. Pray you don't see any weeping angels, because though it seems like they are made of stone, they're quantum locked and in a wink, if you turn your head or blink, they'll get to you and chill you to the bone. Those moving buckets, there they are, the Daleks. They whine so much you swear that they had colic. It's destroy and exterminate. I think I know why they're irate. If they make it to the second floor, I'll show them what that plunger's for. You know it's bigger on the inside. It's bigger on the inside. Once you felt it inside, I'm sure that you'll agree. It's bigger on the inside, but don't take it from me. Once you felt it inside, you will see. They're asking Doctor Who. What they should ask is how. I am so very well endowed. I must admit it's rather long. If you think I mean my scarf, you're wrong. You bloody pervs, I meant this song. Butt chug. So if you think you'd like a sonic screw, driver like I'm holding in my hand, you will have to let me in. Don't worry, child, it's not a sin. Hold on to my temporal drive. I'll take you for an epic ride. You know it's bigger on the inside. It's bigger on the inside. Once you felt it inside, I'm sure that you'll Escamey Pond. I have no idea who that is. Once you felt it inside, you will see. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I almost never play in Tampa. That's a travesty. Let's do this every year. Vampire Club. Vampire Club. What? Wait, hold on a second. Everybody stop for a second. I heard a bell ringing. That's not last call, is it? No? Wait, what time is it? Last call's at 3 in the morning. What time is it now? 12:25. We have a lot of drinks left to drink, don't we? All right, I'll stick in Vampire Club.